Television is an Indigenous broadcaster, so we live in the real world of broadcasters, but our focus is really about the language and culture. Viewers out there are really the whole population of New Zealand. It's not targeting Maori alone, it targets all New Zealanders. So in the process of normalisation, clearly we need to attract viewers that don't have the Maori language skills. Te reo is what we call the language. Entertainment, obviously entertainment's a draw to everyone. We have a unique flavour which really reflects very much the Maori people, the Maori culture, the manner, the humour. We recognise that in a number of the programs that we offer forward.
We've been in business here at Maori Television for the last 8 years, and we are New Zealand's Indigenous broadcaster. So unlike a lot of other broadcasters, our role is very clear. We have a statutory requirement to revitalise the language and culture of Māori, not a commercial organisation like many other broadcasters.
Maori Television, in a funny way by default rather than by specific attempt to, have become the largest sport broadcaster free-to-air in the country.
I've been at Maori Television for about 4 years now, and I've recently joined our sports team, and it's the only Maori sports team that is dedicated to Maori news, Maori sport in the country. And we cover a whole variety of sport, from grassroots right up to our mainstream stories. It's very diverse and it's really interesting.
Part of my responsibility is about ensuring the technology provides those tools again for our staff to ensure they can keep up with the Joneses, as it were, or in fact get in front of them.
2011 was a bumper year for Maori Television. We were getting involved in a lot more events. We had the Rugby World Cup, we had the elections of course last year, and we got involved in a telethon Rise Up for Christchurch. That really put some strain on our current resources, what we can do. You know, we had a good existing relationship with Grass Valley. We knew we wanted to have a look at their system. You know, the previous couple of years we'd been having a look at a number of solutions. And then as we got closer to sort of crunch time, we knew our sort of two preferred options, and we spent a fair bit of time addressing each of those to see which was a better fit for Maori Television going forward.
We took some time to peer review our ideas and proposals around a technical upgrade, and on the whole, on the balance, we found that what was being offered by Grass Valley seemed to be the system that would meet our needs.
Coming to a decision in the end was about how did it integrate. In the period of time we've been in existence, we've added many pieces to the fabric, and obviously integration to each of those becomes a big challenge for us.
We wanted to make sure we took care of keeping our files in HD, so we wanted to get rid of the dropping to SD as we baseband everything into the system. So we wanted a smart solution around ingest. You know, how do we deal with 100 clips coming off a camera, and the reporters don't want to know about 100 clips called Camo 162. You know, they just want to see a linear ingest that they can go away, sit at their desk, browse, cut it up, and then move into edit.
What the introduction of Stratus has allowed is the ability for reporters to access their material far more immediately than had been previously possible. That immediacy and the control of being able to look through their material means that they are able to be in a state of high finish by the time they hit an editor's booth.
The first thing that I do when I come back from my shoot is I've got my precious footage in my hand. I take it to get ingested, and then I go straight to my desktop where I can see the footage that I've just shot for that day comes up on the inspector, and I can easily go through and cut through the clips that I like, the interview segments that I think are the best, mark them in, mark them out, and then they come up in the storyboard editor. So I can basically do a rough cut of my story for that day. I just send it off to the editors, and they just fine-tune all the bits and pieces that I've sent them.
It's just like sort of Tetris blocks, put it all together, and you just got to throw in, colour in the holes, and then you got your story, then you send it off and plays to air. Maori Television, we've got 10 editors here, 6 primarily using EDIUS. We've got 3 dedicated EDIUS 6 suites and 1 standalone suite that we use primarily for cutting news, current affairs shows, and a bit of compiling.
Stratus is without doubt an extremely good platform. We're really pleased with it, and certainly the observation of user experience here has been very, very good.
As a reporter, the Stratus system really does give me the confidence to know that I'm going to be able to meet my deadline, I'm going to be able to get that story in on time, and that it's not going to be a nightmare or a headache to make sure that it's crafted properly and that it's going to go to air on time.
Yeah, so in terms of playout and ingest, that's exactly how we're using the summit. So we've got a couple of channels for playout in each control room, which is split across each summit, and then we've got 4 channels, or up to 4 channels of ingest. One of them is currently being used as ingest/playout. So that's exactly how we use the system. In terms of streaming proxy and the simplicity of knowing that you've got immediate proxy off your incoming video feed is fantastic. The fact that the journalists can go back there, if they've got a 2-hour ingest, they're into it straight away. So there's no holding back the journos now. There's no reasons for not meeting those deadlines. The other side of it, of course, apart from streaming proxy, is RMI, and it works perfectly with our Sony cameras. We stick it in, we get our sort of non-linear looking ingest, but it's faster than real time, and the proxy that's chasing it is within 10 to 15 seconds, so it's pretty cool.
I really like the way, I must say, that the sales team had been listening to us over the last 3 or 4 years in particular. To their credit, they eventually came up with the Stratus, which answered so many questions for me in terms of a bigger collaborative process. I found it very accommodating toward exactly what we were doing. And EDIUS was the sell. EDIUS is an extremely good tool, there's no question about that. It's a very high-end craft edit tool. We saw that. We do have Final Cut here as well, so we know what and we do have Avid here as well. So we were able to compare a few apples with apples. So the decision though to go with EDIUS actually answered a lot more questions for me. To me personally, that was really important because we've been able to service ourselves well and make the dollars go a little bit better economically by doing things in-house.
Grass Valley sees us as a partner, and that they see that their role is to support us through this tough time which every business has when a new system is introduced. So yeah, I think that is keeping us smiling.